And we're back now with former Today Show staffer Addie Zinone. Addie recently came forward to describe a consensual sexual relationship with Matt Lauer 17 years ago, which she now calls an abuse of power. So you left, you went back to West Virginia, you got on the air locally, and then the National Enquirer comes knocking. Do you know how they heard anything about you and him?
No idea. I mean, literally no idea. I had told a friend or two because I had, what else was I going to do with this? And they were very close friends, and I know that they didn't do it. And I mean, I literally have no idea. All I know is that I pulled into my driveway after anchoring the local news, and this gentleman comes up to me. I don't really want to call him a gentleman. This man came up to me as I was getting out of my car, and he said, I want to ask you some questions about Matt Lauer. I just watched you on the news. That's really great. And I thought, you know, he watched me on the news. He knew I was coming home. What is happening here? Like, this is crazy.
When you told Matt about that, what did he say?
Who did you tell? Why did you tell somebody? And I thought, and I said, well, I have to tell somebody. What do you want me to do with this? It's not like he's helping me. He's discarded, insignificant. Like, you know, go on.
Did you and he stay in touch after that?
Over the years, yeah, we've been in touch. We would swap emails occasionally, but mostly it just came when the National Enquirer came at me. Hey, by the way, National Enquirer's coming again. This is 2006.
Did you ever wonder whether there were other women like you?
That's what's interesting about this, because this happened to me, and I thought, well, for sure I'm not the only other woman, because he did it so effortlessly with me that I thought for sure there have to be other women. But I didn't know that there were other colleagues, because I thought if he continued that behavior and what he did with me, there would have to be other people coming forward. Over 17 years, we would have heard about that, right? So I did feel very alone and isolated and unsure of what to do with this, and I just carried it, because who wants to be that person?
Right. When you heard the story break in Variety, when you heard that he had been fired, what went through your head, and have you been contacted by any other women?
I have. And what went through my head is, like, you know, sort of my world changed that morning. I woke up and I was like, wow, my goodness. So I felt some comfort knowing I wasn't alone. I felt fear about what does this mean for me, because my name was already out there to some of these media outlets. They did start to come toward me. In Touch magazine, like immediately within 2 hours, was calling me, and I was on my kid's playground, and that's a very frightening place to be.
Yeah.
But I did feel some comfort knowing that I wasn't the only one.
When you were contacted by other women, these are other women who claim that they've had relationships with him?
I've just talked to other women who have been through this, and
not with Matt.
No. Right. Okay. So I mean, I've been contacted by other women who know exactly what I've been through. I mean, I'll just say that. And
you don't want to say whether they are accusing.
Right. I don't. I would prefer not to, because, you know.
What I understand.
Okay.
What kind of blowback have you received? Because if you look at the comments to your article on Variety, at times it's been very hateful.
It's very intense. And this is one thing I want to say. I'm coming forward and saying, yes, this was consensual. It was an abuse of power. I want to put a face and a story to these women's accusations, because I'm seeing that they're being doubted. And so I thought, I've got to validate their claims. I mean, this happened, and I've got to explain it in embarrassing detail, because I want them to understand the commonalities in our stories and to be able to identify those exact same behaviors and predatory behaviors that he did. Because I recognized them in the stories that I heard. And that's how I knew, like, this was a consistent pattern of behavior for him. The blowback has been, I expected it. You know, when my husband and I decided that I was actually going to go forward with this and speak out and become a face, I expected some blowback, of course, because I understand that people are going to paint me as a homewrecker, as a slut, and a whore, and those are things I have been called. It was suggested yesterday to me that please go get hit by a bus. And these are very real things. And so I did expect some blowback. Anybody would, right? Because
maybe not
consent to them may be just complete black and white. And why come forward after 17 years?
So you were very young, and you were very low on the totem pole when this went down. What's this been like for your husband?
You know, I mean, my husband is such a strong, amazing, supportive man. Certainly this is not an easy thing for him to handle, but he's handling it with me because we are true partners in life, and he is going to support me. And he knows who I am, and he understands the situation as best he can. But, you know, both of our families are really struggling with this. This is not something that is easy for anybody to understand immediately. And this is a bombshell for them too.
Yeah.
This isn't something that I've just shared over dinner, Thanksgiving, right? You know, so these things that are happening, I mean, it affects our families as well. And he's just being super strong.
I want to tell our audience that Addie went on to serve our country in the Army, 2 tours of duty in Iraq. And just to close the loop, Matt Lauer issued a statement after the first accuser went to NBC's Human Resources Department saying some of what is being said about me is untrue or mischaracterized, but there's enough truth to these stories to make me feel embarrassed and ashamed. I regret that my shame is now shared by the people I cherish dearly. I'm going to give you the last word.
I just want to say to everyone out there who's been through my situation that I hear you, and I'm going to stand up and sort of take the heat. I'm not a martyr. I just want to put a face and humanize this issue and bring up this conversation about what consent means in that situation. And again, like for my daughter, you know, my beautiful 7-year-old, when she gets into the workplace, how can I better fortify her to not be susceptible for this happening if she finds it?
And to remember that no is an available option.
Exactly.
No is an available option.
And to those who have also been assaulted, I'm not trying to lump myself. I mean, I just want to make it clear to them because I think
you've made that clear. People are conflating that. She never claimed to be a rape victim. She never claimed that it was anything other than consensual. She's trying to shine a light on a different piece of this problem.
There's room for this conversation as well. And clearly, by all the women who have come forward, you know, we need to talk about it.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for just giving me an opportunity.
You bet. I want to tell our viewers we reached out to Matt Lauer's representative for comments about Addie's story. We have not received a response.